Alrighty, race fans, it has been one hell of a week in the ORL. Extremely busy. 3 official races this week. To keep track of it all, I've decided to start doing a weekly recap. So this will be the first one of those. I'll try to do one every Sunday, time willing. So let's get on to the race results and what's going on. The first race this week was the Division 3 opening race of our new motocross series. The first race was on 2012 AMA Supercross Phoenix. Now this race was plagued by lag-out issues. We ran the first 15 laps of a 20-lap race when suddenly 2 drivers lagged out, and then a few seconds later 3 drivers lagged out. Now normally if 1 driver lags out, we continue the race, that driver's disqualified. We can't tell if someone has cut off their Xbox and rage quit, and we're not going to restart and reward people for that, and we're not going to try to figure out the difference between when someone lags out naturally and when someone rage quits. So that's just part of the way we run our races. But having all but 3 drivers lag out is devastating. We can't continue a race like that and call it fair and call ourselves a legitimate league. So we did a restart. Unfortunately, the guy who led for most of those first 15 laps never got back online. I'm still not sure why. Something was going on in his house. His mom was kicking his ass or something. I don't know. But he never got back on. So we did a restart, and immediately another guy lags out. And at this point, you know, we want everyone to race. So we go ahead and end that race, and we do another restart, but he never got back on. So we wound up running the race with 5 drivers, and we only did 10 laps. It was a heck of a race, though. The results are as followed. Death Lord destroyed the competition in that race. He led the entire race, except for maybe the first 3 seconds. But yeah, he killed that track. He killed the competition. He is an awesome driver. So it was first place, Death Lord. Second place, Darkstar 072. Third place was X-Rains. Fourth place was Megazero 959. And in 5th place, Turkey Shot. Now, Turkey Shot went AFK halfway through the race. He must have went to go make himself a turkey sandwich or something. I don't know what he was doing. But he did come back and finish the race. So he did score 5th place points for that race. Now, the second race this week... let's see, it was the Division 2 race number 5. This was on the map Mad World MX. This was a heated and intense race. And ultimately, some of the issues that took place led to the disbanding of Team Superfly. That's ETS Monster and Darkstar 072. They're still good friends. They still love each other, but they decided that racing as a team wasn't working at all. So they decided to disband Team Superfly and continue on as independent drivers. Now, in this race, KSI Milkman, he raced his first official ORL race. He did very well, considering he's had very little practice and experience on the ORL tracks. The final results of that race was first place, Goldliner 49er, killed it, led the entire race, won by almost a full lap. That guy is a beast driver. Watch out for him. In second place, KSI Milkman, with a very respectable finish for his first official ORL race. Third place was ETS Monster. Fourth place was Bowie Boy. Fifth place was Darkstar 072. And in 6th, it was Street Killer. Now, unfortunately, we had to disqualify Mark Freeman. There was a situation where he crashed his mongoose, and instead of getting back on it, he ran down the track. Anyone who's read our rules knows that that is unacceptable. You do not leave an abandoned mongoose on the track to troll the drivers behind you. You get back on the mongoose and you drive. That's how we roll. That's how the rules are. Unfortunately, he got disqualified in his first race, so that sucks for him. But hopefully, he'll be back and make up some of those points. It's still a long season. Now, the last race this week. Let's see, that was the Division 1 race number 2 on ORL Le Mans GT. Compared to the other races this week, this one was fairly uneventful. However, it was probably the most fun. Now, I managed Division 1. I was the referee in that race. I was watching the whole thing, and most of what I heard through my headset the entire race was laughing and joking. These guys had a great time, and that really embodies what we're all about in outlaw racing. A lot of guys come into the league, they have something to prove, and they wind up not doing well. They wind up getting mad and rage quitting and quitting the league, and it's kind of a bummer for everybody. But all these guys in Division 1 were having the time of their life and laughing and hooting and hollering, and it was great to be a part of that race. Now, unfortunately for Meta Carnax, he was forced to go AFK only a few laps in and fell behind several laps. Even more unfortunate was the fact that when he came back, he drove for a minute and decided to quit, which was a bummer because he would have scored points even in last place, and he chose to disqualify himself and quit. So I hope we all learned something from that. Never quit. Even if you think you might be disqualified, keep driving, because the judges are looking for any reason to not disqualify something, or to disqualify someone if something goes wrong for them. So it's a real bummer. I hope we see him again for the next race. He is an awesome driver. Pretty much every time I race against him, he kicks my butt. So he's definitely a contender. It's only 2 races into the season. He missed the first race, disqualified the second race, so he's got 0 points, but 2 races in, he's not that far behind. He can still podium for the season, so hopefully he'll be back for the next race. Now let's see. Now, after a devastating wreck on the first turn of that race, Mr. Stylizing raced his ass off and came back and took first place. It was an amazing performance on a very difficult track. Every driver crashed 4 or 5 times on that track. It's a track that's designed to wreck even the best drivers, and it did its job. There were several lead changes. The last couple laps, first, second, and third place were all really close together. Even on the last 2 laps, the first place exchanged several times between Stylizing and Turkey Shot. So the final results of that race were first place, Mr. Stylizing, second place, Turkey Shot 98, third place, X-Rains, and fourth, Frederick 11. Fifth place was Dark Links, and unfortunately Meta Carnax disqualified himself. Now that's all the races we had this week, and I've got an announcement to make. Due to the fact that we've had a number of drivers who signed up for Division 1 or 2 in ORL, they've not been coming to races. They haven't contacted anybody to say why. They haven't come to any practices. So we are basically considering them quit. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a tournament. We're going to race a couple tracks depending on how many drivers we get. But we'll figure out all the details in the next day or two. But the bottom line is the top 4 drivers who place in that tournament will take the 2 open spots in Division 1 and Division 2. There's 2 spots in each division, so they'll be split up and put in their respective divisions. They will also score points in those races, so they won't have to start mid-season with 0 points in the standings. So I'll be doing a video probably tomorrow with more details on that, so definitely check back to get information on that if you're interested in getting in on the ORL racing experience. That's all we got for this week, guys. Thanks a whole lot for watching. This is Darkstar 072 signing out. Peace.